Hey, today we are going to get a little bit messy by making and playing with slime. But first, we are going to explore some of the science behind slime, which is a very strange thing that has a mind of its own. Is slime a solid or a liquid? Slime is neither a solid nor a liquid. Slime is a non-Newtonian fluid, meaning it does not follow Newton's law of viscosity. Newtonian fluids, like water, can only change from a liquid to a solid with changes in temperature, like how water freezes and becomes ice. Slime doesn't behave that way, though. Slime follows its own rules, man. Viscosity is how fast or slow fluid flows. Things with more viscosity are thicker and flow slower. That's like mud or honey. Things with less viscosity are thinner, and they flow faster. That's like water or gasoline. Remember how I said Newtonian fluids require temperature changes to turn solid, like how water freezes and becomes ice? Well, non-Newtonian fluids become more liquid or more solid, not due to temperature, but due to force. Ever notice how ketchup flows better when you shake it? That's because ketchup is a non-Newtonian fluid, and it actually gets easier to pour when you shake it. Slime is the opposite, though. Slime is also a non-Newtonian fluid, but when you apply force to it, it gets more solid instead of less solid, like ketchup. If ketchup and slime are both non-Newtonian fluids, then why do they react differently to force? Ketchup gets runnier when the force is applied, and slime becomes more solid when it's squeezed. So this is actually due to shear thinning versus shear thickening properties. Shear thinning fluids like ketchup, glue, and honey decrease in viscosity when force is applied. That means they become easier to pour. But shear thickening fluids, that's the opposite. Shear thickening fluids are like quicksand and slime, and those increase in viscosity when force is applied. That's why struggling and moving around in quicksand actually makes it more difficult to escape. The key to slime's consistency is polymers. What are polymers? A polymer is a long chain of molecules containing many repeated parts. Silk, wool, DNA, those are all examples of polymers. Slime becomes more solid when you squeeze it or stir it because of a cross-linking process. I'll show you. This is my slime here. I haven't touched it in a while, and it's gotten pretty solid. When you're not touching it, the particles inside of it kind of coil up, and that's what makes it more solid. But when you apply pressure, or you start stirring or squeezing, the particles loosen up, and it becomes more liquidy. The coils inside are also what causes it to break apart when you pull on it quickly. But if you pull on it smoothly, it sticks together more. And why does slime feel cold? Touch it, it feels cold. When the cornstarch combines with the soap or the shampoo or whatever it is you use, that has borate ions in it. And when those connect, they form a chemical reaction, and the coldness is a sign of that chemical reaction taking place. The chemical reaction absorbs the heat energy, so it doesn't feel warm, it feels cold. This is called an endothermic reaction. Okay, enough talk. Let's make some slime. To make your own slime, I'm going to show you one recipe. This is my recipe, but there are lots of recipes online that use lots of different ingredients. So if you don't have what I have to make it work, go to YouTube or go to Google and find a recipe that will work for you. For this recipe, you need a mixing bowl, a tablespoon measure, cornstarch, dishwashing liquid, and if you want, you can have some food dye to make it a fun color. You should also have some napkins available. It's going to get really messy, and you might even want to lay down some newspapers or some napkins in your work area so that you don't create a big mess. Start with your cornstarch. you're going to take 4 tablespoons of cornstarch. Next ingredient is your dishwashing liquid. You need 3 tablespoons of this. Notice how it flows slowly. That's because it has a high viscosity. It's kind of thick. Okay. I should have mentioned you're going to need a spoon to start stirring. Okay, start stirring it. It should start to form together. If you find that it's too dry, put in more dishwashing liquid. If it's too wet, put in more cornstarch. There we go. That's starting to form into a slime right now. I'm going to add some food coloring. I'll put in some green food coloring. If you do decide to use food coloring, be careful, because it will stain anything it touches. I mean clothes, skin, anything. But it does make for a nice green slime. Alright, and once it starts bonding together like that and really looks like slime, you can actually start kneading it with your hands. You could take it out and play with it. If it sticks to your hand, rub it into the cornstarch and that'll help for it to come off a little. And you have made oopy gloopy slime. Oh, what a mess. It's so gross. There we go. Now we've got it. Okay. Now we've got some real slime. All right.